So I really get anxiety, social anxiety, going to networking events because my issue with them is I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like if I was to go there and say, well, Brandon, you're also going to be our speaker, I'm totally cool now. Like I know what I'm supposed to do. Like I'm going to talk on a topic and I get my role. But when it's like just go into a room, a bunch of people, you don't know them, and do this networking thing. Do you have any good therapy for me that will help me
I
get
have
a little more
couple
comfortable?
suggestions. So
Okay.
if you choose to be an attendee, which I think you should do sparingly and you should do really intentionally, because not all places are created equal and not all places are going to feel aligned. But when you do, I think one, bringing a wing person is really helpful, almost like you would in a dating environment if you were in those, because it allows you to, one, start with a slight level of comfort and kind of integrate together into the room. But then you break off eventually and you have each other's backs and you're looking out for each other. And so if I meet Emily and I say, okay, oh my gosh, Emily, have you met Brandon? And I bring you two together. It's like you have, a soldier out in the field doing the work for you and helping bring people back to you, which is helpful. Another thing is what I call introverts hour. And you don't have to be an introvert and or shy to appreciate this, that if you show up within the first hour of an event, when there is less going on, people are just starting to get there and everyone is looking for a conversation partner, you're going to really benefit yourself by being there and approaching someone, just being like, hi, I'm Darrah. What brought you here tonight? And try to avoid what I consider the dreaded question of starting with what do you do? I think it minimizes people, feels like you want to do a transaction with them, and it can put people on the defense a bit.
Yeah.
So it's great to just start with that. Or another really strategic thing is if there's a bar or a buffet, to stand catty corner off of it where people are going to naturally turn out from it. And they're going to often get this deer in headlights look of, oh my gosh, who do I talk to? What do I do? And there you are with a friendly face and your hand out to greet them and say hello. And those are really easy ways to do it. And then the contrary to that is don't attend networking events, host your own. So rather than being one among many and trying to build relationships, be the person who's the convener and everyone knows and wants to get to know. And you don't have to do any of the legwork to build each of the individual relationships because your reputation already precedes you.
Beautiful. I love it. I love all those ideas. And they also, they remind me of getting in there and having support, having a strategy and a system, and even down to the tactical piece of get there early. So you're part of that initial nucleus where those conversations are formed. What's horrible for me is when I show up a little later and everyone's already got their circles formed, and I got to figure out how do I break into a circle to start talking,
Exactly.
Okay. Man, this was awesome. Okay, so I ask all my guests this question. What's one life hack you have for us to help us live a life more free from dysfunction, either personally or professionally?
Well, the first thing that's coming to mind is what I'm going to go with. And it sounds super cliche these days, but for me, it's been a game changer. It's been meditation. Because when I started the first company, I talked about all this burnout. Until I started meditating, I was so emotionally reactive to things and so dysfunctional internally, but didn't even realize it. I thought, oh, this is just normal stress that comes with business. And when a client's having a problem, everyone just gets this strung out. But that wasn't the case at all. And the second I started adopting a meditation practice, I was able to move much more freely and on the same wavelength without going in all these crazy ups and downs of the roller coaster of stress through what would have historically been considered stressors. But now we're just sort of like, okay, how do we handle that? How do we deal with it? And it allows you almost to come outside of yourself and recognize, well, is this going to matter in a minute, in 5 minutes, in a day, in a week, in a month? And whether or not it will, what do I do about it? Rather than let my adrenals burn out and let it just be what it is. And so for me, meditation has been this way to handle that, as well as to get so much more centered and clear on what we talked about at the beginning of the conversation around how do you even identify what it is that you want so you can design your life and figure out what it costs and then build the network. Like if you can't tune in with yourself, all the other voices around you are going to be what's controlling your decisions.
That's beautiful. Fantastic. So this was awesome. I mean, so many great mindset shifts, but also tactics. And that makes for the best show. So fantastic. Thank you. So if there was any ways people could reach out to you, learn more about you, connect with you, where can they go?
Great. So 2 primary places. One is my website. It's darrah.co, darrah.co. You'll see on there tons of free resources that dig way into more depth than even we talked about today. as well as information on a couple of products that might be useful to help you build your own networking event series or figure out some of this lifestyle design stuff. So that's all there. And then I show up every day on Instagram trying to add a lot of what you're talking about, actionable and inspirational tips and resources. And I'm at Darrah B.